Hello, my name is Lynn Gubachuk. This is my final project for AEP 855, Educational Leadership. My topic was gender equality and technology. My research sources were the Fort Hays State University Forsyth Library using an EBSCO-host database with the search parameters of equity, gender, library, technology, full text, scholarly or peer-reviewed journals. My second source was Directory of Open Access Journals. Here I used the search parameters of articles, gender, equity, and technology. Interventions for promoting gender equitable technology use in classrooms was my first article. The question here is, do students have gender biases when it comes to technology, and can these biases be altered? The answer, according to this article, is yes to both of these questions. Through the creation and implementation of interventions, student biases can be altered. If these interventions include student-centered learning, collaborative group learning, and interpersonal interactions, classrooms that include technology use can and do become more welcoming environments for girls. The interventions in this study included carefully structured interactive skits, collaborative learning exercises incorporating the use of technology. The interactive skits, there were two of these created for this study. Skit 1 was in a school setting where a student, primarily female, is attempting to join a group of boys on the computer. Skit 2 includes a leading role of a newly hired team leader at a computer game development firm. Roles were assigned in order for all students to look at the roles being depicted from each gender perspective. Students improvised the skits several times. The students not only spoke the skits when they were working through them and improvising them, they also used thought bubbles to show their feelings and their true thoughts as the actions were going on. The audience themselves also had thought bubbles. The students compared and contrasted the skits, provided input as to why one student might have had or experienced difficulty as the teacher guides the discussion. These skits often led to the second intervention of collaborative group work. Appropriately designed activities for collaborative group work are there to encourage female participation and keep boys from taking over. Two different activities with differing goals emerged. Activity 1, true-false exercises to make up the first activity. This is a small group activity that requires a group response with reasoning. The students were presented with true-false questions based on the skits above. They then had to determine as a group whether the questions were true or false. They also had to come up with evidence as to why they came up with that particular answer. Some of the questions were quite tricky and they could have gone either way. As long as the students were able to provide evidence, the teacher did not have a problem with this. Web design. In this small group activity with a teacher-appointed female lead, the task was to design a home page for computer development firm. This came from skit number 2. Student results. The students found that their collaborative skills became stronger, respect of others' opinions increased, and they learned the art of compromise. Students also commented that they had a change in opinion when it came to gender roles in technology. As a result of these student-centered learning activities, girls' attitudes regarding technology became more positive and their classroom participation increased. Boys who participated in these exercises became more considerate when female students spoke. However, teachers observed that some boys appeared threatened by the shift in attitude of the girls. Teacher results. Here there was a surprise. Initially, teachers felt they were gender balanced. But through this investigation, they learned that they had to alter their interactions with students, materials found within their classrooms, and their curriculum to promote and strengthen that of females. As a result of these changes, teachers continued to observe the positive influence on female students. My second article was titled Increasing Elementary School Teachers' Awareness of Gender Inequity in Student Computer Use. Where the first article spoke more to student biases, this one speaks to teachers. The study presented in this article examined the attitudes of teachers regarding gender and technology in the elementary school. The authors questioned whether teacher attitudes from the primary years, grades K through 3, had any effect on the computer usage of boys and girls in elementary school, grades 4 through 8. Therefore, this project was created to increase gender equity awareness levels with respect to the use of computer technology by students. Prior to the interventions, primary teachers did not provide equal or equivalent technology experiences for both genders. When given an option, girls did not choose computer technology as often as boys, but instead selected traditional methods of learning and research. Girls did not have as much access to or experience with computer technology as male students. All classrooms within the study were equipped with at least 2 internet-enabled computers. A computer lab was utilized as part of the curriculum. In addition, administrators urged but did not require teachers to use technology. With the technology available, the administration believed that all students would be afforded an equal or equivalent technology educational experience. The research objectives. The researchers used the following questions to guide their research. Did both teachers and students perceive that all students had equal and adequate access to the classroom computers? 2. What were the teachers' attitudes regarding gender and educational ability? And 3. Did the teachers' attitudes regarding gender correlate with the provisions they made for technology use in their classrooms? The method of research. The study included 20 teachers and 80 students. From this pool, 4 teachers and 16 students were selected to comprise a sample group. The research consisted of teacher questionnaires, observation of class sessions before and after the interventions, and interviews with participants. The purpose of the questionnaires was to determine the teacher's technology background as well as any presence of gender bias when teaching technology. 4 specific points were evaluated utilizing observations of the sample group. 1. How often the teacher assisted male students. 2. How often the teacher assisted female students. 3. How often the teacher provided positive feedback to male and female students. And 4. How often the teacher provided negative feedback to male and female students. Teachers were interviewed in a semi-structured method before and after the interventions. Students, on the other hand, were interviewed as part of the focus group interviews. The researchers conducted 4 sets of focus group interviews before and after the interventions. Once the initial research was completed, 3 goals were established as teacher intervention strategies. 1. Learn about gender-neutral teaching strategies. 2. Learn about ways computers could support and enhance student learning. And 3. Consider ways to use available computer resources equitably in their classrooms. To meet these objectives, the sample group teachers participated in after-school workshops. Multiple workshops were held because research for learning to be effective, follow-up sessions must take place. The follow-up sessions could be in the form of workshops or activities related to the initial learning provided. In this study, the sessions focused on gender equity and technology. The results. Based on post-intervention interviews and observations, the interventions were found to be successful. Some of the teachers in the sample group initially believed their classes were gender bias-free, but after interventions realized they were mistaken. Teachers who participated as part of the sample group made concerted efforts to equitably distribute attention to both boys and girls. The teachers became aware of how their attitudes and behaviors regarding gender impacted their classrooms and computer labs. Views and attitudes of the participants in the sample group changed dramatically, while those in the general group did not. Gender Educational Technologies in the School Library. This article is a review of literature regarding gender in educational technology and shows how this research is relevant to the school library media services. Gender in Educational Technologies in Educational Research. This research shows that access to computers, process of computer-related learning, and learning outcomes for girls is behind that of boys, but the gap is beginning to close. There is no difference in male and female teacher attitudes. Girls use computer games less frequently than boys, which results in a lack of interest, skill, and self-confidence. The more experience a student has working with computers, the better they perform using technology. Boys generally have more experience than girls. There is a lack of research when it comes to gender experiences when information seeking in the library. Researchers have operated under the assumption that a gender gap exists and have made suggestions to narrow the gap. These suggestions include differentiating instruction for females, creating a more social curriculum for girls, emphasizing computer use for information access, examine the hardware or software for bias, ensure there are female educators comfortable with computers to act as role models for male and female students, employ or utilize additional female lab monitors to ensure more experienced males do not intervene before girls have the opportunity to problem solve independently. Introduction to the Internet is included in courses that are popular with females. Establish discussion forums for girls on shared topics. Provide after-school clubs to girls in order to help build their computer skills and improve their attitudes. The research has also shown that girls tend to use computers differently than boys and are less likely to pursue careers in computer science or become technology designers. Boys use computer games at a higher rate than girls, while girls were more likely to have a positive attitude when using the web during classroom instruction. When working on the web, girls preferred graphic materials and stay at one site longer. Boys, on the other hand, often jump from site to site, gather more information, and perform more searches. One researcher eliminated the male-female aspect and instead looked at gender schema. Gender schema theory says that individuals view the world as either feminine, expressive, focus on emotions and human relationships, or masculine, instrumental, focus on actions and tasks. Both males and females think of themselves as either feminine or masculine. The research as it pertains to gender schema has shown that the sites that keep the feminine attention emphasize graphic quality, quantity, visual engagement, multimedia quantity, and multimedia quality, whereas the masculine preferred to have control of their computer, sharp moves and many movements on the screens like game-like features. What this means for the librarian is that he or she must offer multiple websites, considering that within the genders, individuals are attracted by varying content. Some female students may value the feminine visual or textual content, while others may value a more masculine content. What is the role of the school library media specialist? It is the responsibility of the LMS to take an active role in making technology use attractive to all users, but especially to that of girls. To do so, the LMS must create and design educational opportunities that are attractive to a variety of users and be aware of any and all gender biases within the educational setting itself. To lessen the gap between male and female computer users, the research suggests that the LMS might provide games for the feminine user that would include female characters in strong positive roles, use real-life scenarios, emphasize storylines and character development with human relationships, and avoid conflict, good and evil, non-violent. Include an abundance of high-quality graphic and multimedia components. Library media specialists need to be aware of the differences between male and female and feminine and masculine, and to design instruction to inspire students to create designs and use technologies now and into their future. The library media specialist leadership and gender equity challenges. As stated in the last article review, we as librarians must make a concerted effort to minimize bias in the curriculum along with classroom setting for technology education. Inclusion of materials that both genders can relate to, visuals which promote strong male and female technology leaders, and include role models who can place real-world implications for the classroom learning. Librarians need to build relationships with students, collaborate with teachers, and leverage ideas from outside sources in order to provide the best education for their students. They should also include outside of school learning activities for students based on their interest that would enrich their skills while building their confidence. A lack of confidence, especially in females, leads to a lack of additional education and eventually a lack of interest in careers in the technology fields. The research shows that girls do not lack the ability, but instead the education and interest in technology. As librarians, we are leaders within our schools. I believe that it is our responsibility to promote and model appropriate gender equal teaching skills so that classroom teachers throughout our buildings can and will step up and join the effort to encourage all students to investigate technology-rich careers. The articles that I used for this research included Interventions for Promoting Gender Equitable Technology Use in Classrooms, Increasing Elementary School Teachers' Awareness of Gender Inequity in Student Computer Usage, and Gender Educational Technologies and the School Library.